Today we are tying one of the most effective trout patterns out there, the Caddis Fly. This pattern is effective from spring through fall, and it should be part of every angler's box. Here is a list of all the materials that I'll be using today. The color patterns mostly are olive, tan, and brown. And it's going to be depending on your location and the caddis flies that are around your area. If you don't know that, then tan is always a good bet. Okay, to start this, you're going to put your hook in the vise, tip down, grab your thread, start about halfway back the hook shank, and then work your way back to the bend of the hook. Try to keep your thread as smooth as possible. That way you don't get any lumps in your body later down the road. After you got that wrapped, you can go ahead and snip that tagline off. The first step is going to be attaching your copper wire, and you're going to put that running back the hook first. And you're going to catch that and do some nice tight wraps to hold it in place. And then work your way back. Okay, after you got the copper wire fastened to your hook, it's time for your dubbing. A little tip for dubbing: cut a corner out of your baggie, and it makes getting smaller amounts easier and keeps everything nice and neat. You don't need much when it comes to dubbing. Less is more. And to start that dubbing, you're going to pull a few inches of thread out, wrap it around your hook, and then around your dubbing loop, and then tie that in nice and neat. And once your dubbing loop is in, go ahead and take your thread about an eyelet back from the eye. Okay, then you're going to go ahead and place your dubbing in the loop, like so. And then grab your spinning tool. And go ahead and give that a good spin. You should end up with something like that. Then go ahead and wrap that around the hook shank. Once you get it up to your thread, go ahead and tie that off. With some tight wraps. Okay, once you have your dubbing on, it's time for your hackle. Now you don't need much of this either. A few wraps does really good. You're going to lay that feather along the hook, grab it with a loose wrap, and then a few tight wraps. Snip off anything hanging out past your thread, and then proceed to do just a few wraps. It'd help if I grab my pliers. If you have hacking pliers, definitely use them. They make the job easier, but it can be done without. And like I said, just a couple wraps back the body. Something like that. Let that hang for a minute, then grab your copper wire and start wrapping in the opposite direction of your hackle. And if you wiggle that, you can work your way through the hackle and you won't catch any and tie it down. And then once you have that copper up front, go ahead and catch it with your thread. Do a couple wraps. I like to bend that copper back just to ensure that it's going to be held nice, and then we can helicopter that off. Now that that's fastened, you can go ahead and cut that leftover hackle out. Okay, it's time for your elk hair. Another tip, these little paper clips help to just prepare in advance. Cut a little bit of material that you're using, then just place it in that clamp so it's ready to go. This elk hair, you want to brush that out, get rid of any of that fuzz. It will help with the buoyancy and just make a better presentation. If you have a hair stacker, go ahead and throw that elk hair in the hair stacker. Give it a few good thumps. And then you can lay that elk hair up on top. You don't want it any longer than the hook. Try to measure at about where that hook starts to bend. Catch that elk hair with a loose wrap. And then a couple nice tight wraps. That will make that elk hair stand up real nice. And once you have a couple good wraps on there, Go ahead and transfer that up past that elk hair. Once that's tied in, go ahead and cut the excess. I like to cut it about the length, just to the tip of the eyelet. Okay, it's time to finish this off. So we're going to give it a whip finish. 5 turns. Sometimes that head can be a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cinch that down nice and tight. And cut your tag. And that's all there is to this pattern. It's a super easy pattern to tie. Very effective. And these things are literally found in just about every body of trout water there is. And like I said earlier, they are good from spring through fall. They catch fish, and they're definitely worth their value in learning how to tie and how to fish. How you fish them, just like any other fly, dry fly, you want to get a nice dead drift without any drag. This elk hair that the caddis is tied with is really buoyant, and that hackle that we put on, that adds to the buoyancy. So this fly works really well in faster currents. It's one of my favorites, and there's really nothing better than a trout coming up and breaking the water to grab your fly. Well, I think that's gonna about do it for this video. I hope you learned something. Hopefully this helped you out. If it did, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, share. Any of that would help me out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.